Welcome to the Millfield Way podcast. I'm Ellie Lace and I'm in lower sixth at Millfield School, and I'm here with two Year 9 students, and they're here to ask me some questions that possible students might have about boarding at Millfield.
Hi, I'm Grace Davey and I'm in Year 9 at Millfield. I joined in Year 7 from Hampshire.
Hi, I'm Frankie Hatchard in Year 9 at Millfield. I joined in Year 8 and I'm from Brighton.
Can you explain to me, Ellie, what the Year 9 boarding houses are and the names and how it's sorted out?
So when you join, there's one boarding girls' house called Acacia, where all probably 55 girls, I think it is, come in to the same house. You're all there for a year, and there's two boys' houses as well on campus.
So, Ellie, you were a day pupil before, were you?
Yeah, I come from Richmond in London, so I was a day pupil at an all-girls school for my whole life before, so since I was 4. So coming to Millfield was a huge step for me, but I go back there every holidays and I still live there.
What was the transition like into the senior houses from all the boarding girls in your year group into a whole mix with other year groups?
The transition from Acacia I was really, really nervous about, because you spend the first year of a new school with everyone your own age group and you become really comfortable with them and you make great friends and it's all super fun. And to move into a house with all these older girls that you're probably a little bit nervous about seems quite daunting, but going into it everyone's super supportive and you're going in with 9 or 10 girls who are doing the same thing, coming from Acacia, a lot are new as well. And everyone knows that you're feeling a bit nervous, and the reception's really warm. All the older years are super friendly. In the end, they all want to get to know new people as well. I know that in the years that I've been older and Year 9s have come in, we're all super open to getting to know people, because it's nice to have new faces in a boarding house. I think that's what everyone will say. So it went smoothly, but my nerves were calmed, that's for sure.
How big was the change from Year 9 to lower 6? Was there loads of little ones or one big?
All the way?
Yeah.
I'd say the biggest change, aside from the boarding houses in Year 9 and 10, is the shift from doing every subject to picking for GCSEs. That feels like quite a big step when you go through it. Super nice though, because you get to kind of refine what you're doing and specialise a bit more. But apart from that, I'd say Year 11 to lower 6, which I've just done, feels like a big change, because you end up having your own room for most of the part when you're in sixth form in your boarding house, and you go from about 8 or 9 subjects to 3 or 4. So you're spending your whole days doing stuff that you really enjoy and in classes with people you know who are doing the same things as you, so evidently have similar interests, and you really do feel like you get given quite a lot of responsibilities. We have our own sixth form cafe which everyone kind of hangs out in, so you get to meet all these new people, and so that felt like quite a big change.
So when you joined Year 9, what were you most worried about?
So coming from a quite small all girls day school in a really busy city like London, I was really nervous about the transition from that to a huge, impressive, mixed boarding school with people that I'd never met anyone from Millfield before I came. So I was really nervous about that big transition. But as soon as I came here, you realise, especially with the fact that all of the Year 9 girls are in one house, which I think has been a really positive change for the Year 9 at Millfield programme, means that you're in a house with 55 other girls who really are in the same boat as you, and you really bond over that, because you feel nervous when you come, and quite rightly, but as soon as you get here everyone's so friendly and everyone's equally a little bit shy and a little bit nervous as well, so you really just kind of dive into it as soon as you get here. Obviously you guys said you're from Millfield Prep, so you've been boarding since you were quite young. How did that kind of work out for you, and how did you feel about boarding so young, and would you recommend it?
Well, in my experience, boarding was a very good experience, because as much as with everyone did in the boarding house, you might have some days where you feel a bit off, but everyone's there to support you. because everyone's like goes through the same and they all understand, so you're just there chatting. And especially with your house parents as well, they're just a home away, it's like a home away from home, because they're there to support you through the whole thing.
What about you?
Well, I think it was like a really big step to go up to like boarding in that like such a young age. But I think when you're there, like the boarding house is so like comforting for you, so you don't really like, you can get homesick, but then like you have so many things like on offer that like take your mind off being homesick, and everyone's just so supportive in the house and get you doing things that take your mind off.
So you, as well, you guys have just finished your first half term as senior school boarders. How do you feel like you've mixed into the setup at Millfield? Grace, do you wanna?
Well, I think the beginning of year 9 started really well because the school helped you like get to know everyone, and they did activities like year 9 camp and just things in the boarding house that pushed everything else aside and just focused on getting to know each other, and it was actually really nice. Now looking back at it, realising like you've actually got some really nice memories with people you didn't know, but now you're obviously quite close with.
What about you?
Well, I think it was really nerve-wracking like when you first came, being like with all new people and such a bigger like place than prep school. But I also think like with that first week, we all got to know each other so well, like the year 9 camp, making so many memories, and just memories that will last forever. And I think this first term's like been really good, like to get to know each other more than like maybe other years to come.
Obviously you've got so many more years here, so what would you say are the things that you're most excited about going forward?
I'm most looking forward to just getting to know like new like things and lessons, and maybe new activities and sports, and also maybe if when like, new people come, like getting to know them too and making new friends.
Yeah, as well, because I'm a netballer, and we're not obviously in netball season yet, but we've already started preparing as a team in so many training sessions, and just the feeling of being part of a team and like progressing with that team and doing all the competitions together just excites me.
Obviously Millfield is super well known for having loads of sports on offer. What activities do you take part in, and what are you excited to get involved in at your time here?
Well, my passion's swimming, so like I'm doing a lot of swimming on my like daily timetable, but I also take part in a bit of netball too, and I think that like they've just like made the teams like so you get to know each other really well, and like all the training sessions like team bonding, everything like that. And then we also have in Easter our Disneyland Paris netball tour, so I think that will be really good as well to get to know each other and to make new friends.
Well, as much as I play netball, I like to vary my sports and keep my options open. So on a Monday I do games with the rest of the year group, and it's just nice to get myself a bit of variety rather than every day turning up to netball and just spicing up a bit.
What sport do you do on a Monday?
Hockey. Do any of your sports interfere with your everyday academic life?
Well, not really when I'm here. That's one of the reasons I moved, because when I was at a day school, I found that my academics were I was really kind of putting them to the side. I would have to miss lessons so I could go and play at these golf competitions, and I really felt like I was constantly having to catch up if I wanted to try and do both well. So that was one of the main reasons that boarding appealed to me, especially here. But to be honest, you know, the school here is set up so that you can pursue these things and you can do even more than one sport or art or music to a really high level and not feel like you're falling behind. So in year 10, so when I picked my GCSE choices, the golf centre and my house parent and my parents were really supportive of me, so I dropped a subject in order to have that time so I could play my golf and go to these competitions, which, you know, you just wouldn't get that at another school, and that really helped me in the end to balance everything. And boarding helps with that because you're on campus, so even if I do get back from a tournament at, let's say, 10 o'clock, I can go to bed, wake up and be literally right on the doorstep of school the next day. So as much as it on paper it looks like you're doing a lot day to day, you really don't feel like you're pushing your limits or anything like that. I think it just, the more you do, the more you feel like you want to do, if that makes sense.
Like, did you ever struggle with like getting things like on in time, like handing stuff in,
Handing work in.
or being late or stuff like that?
I really did. I'm quite an academically focused person, if that makes sense. Like, I really value kind of trying to do my best at things. Like, I don't know, I really enjoy that side of it. So that's been something that I've really had to work hard on. I'd say in year 9, I did struggle with it because it was a whole new environment to me, this boarding and school. But really quickly I kind of managed to turn it around. House parent kind of said to me, look, it's all good, I know it's a new environment, but we want you to stay on top of things. And so every now and then maybe I'd miss a golf session, or I'd do this I used to sit in the office of the golf centre and I'd do any prep that I had for that that day that I'd missed. And the netball side of things and golf as well are all very strict on the fact that if you miss a day for a competition, you come in the next day and you are supervised to do your work, really. So I found it tricky, but it's possible, and in the end you get used to it, and it's more of a routine. Once you learn how to do it, you do it naturally, to be honest.
What made you choose your A-levels and BTECs? Because it's quite a change from your GCSEs.
Yeah, so in the sixth form, I take a triple BTEC in art and design and politics A-level. So my timetable's completely chock-a-block because it's the equivalent of like a 4 A-level timetable. I chose a BTEC quite controversially because I feel like there's this whole myth around BTECs that, if you've had strong academic grades, then BTEC might not be the right option for you. But everyone was super encouraging of me to take one, because I think the BTEC in art and design it's really strong in the way that it's a replacement for your first year at art uni, and it basically allows you just to be super creative for 17 hours a week, which is so up my street, and basically feels like I'm at summer camp the whole time because I'm just doing things that I love, like every day in and out, which has been such a nice change because I really did enjoy like the learning process of GCSEs, and I'm actually not just saying that for the podcast, like I really did, weirdly. But taking this, and politics as well, is so fascinating. Completely new things, which is, there's so many subjects in sixth form. I never studied politics before, and none of my friends had either who were in my classes, so it's super nice to kind of feel like you're learning new things and adding to your repertoire whilst having fun, really.
What are you thinking about doing in the next few years ahead of you and maybe beyond?
I think I want to study history of art at university, because in the end I want to work in like exhibition spaces and do a thing called curation, which is doing all the itty bitty bits of putting paintings up on walls in exhibitions and things like that, which is something I didn't even know existed before I came here. My heart was set on either being a golfer or I really wanted to be a fashion designer, but coming here and the BTEC course that I do has really kind of changed my perspective on possible careers, and I've had a lot of help from the careers department in terms of American unis as well, so that's been on the cards, and SATs and stuff like that. But yeah, in the end, just seeing where it takes me after uni and just trying to enjoy it, to be honest.
Did you ever become like quite close friends with day students, or do you keep like you're like not in like a bad way but you're way apart?
A lot of my close friends are day pupils, funnily enough, which seems impossible given I'm quite chock-a-block throughout the day. I feel like from an outside perspective you wouldn't kind of see that in terms of mixing, because your whole life you're boarding, really. So, but no, everyone mixes together because it's your classes, your sport, and even if you're a day pupil, you're here till quite late anyway, doing things like that, like sport and academics and enrichment and things like that. So you don't really feel much difference between boarders and day pupils, especially during the day. But yeah, it's all quite together in that sense.
I was going to say, yeah, like the academics and sport, right, really do bring you together, and you kind of build your friendships off like all your commitments, but it's nice because you've all got something in common, something you can be around, yeah.
So I mostly keep in touch with my friends from home on the phone. I'm a bit old school in that sense. And WhatsApp and Snapchat, all the usuals really. But it's nice because every time I go home, so ex-yats or half term, so we're going home on Wednesday for like 2 weeks, I think it is. So it's quite nice to have set time where you really say, you know, these 2 weeks I've got off and I'm really going to spend time with the people that I don't see in school, and you end up going out of the way to see people that maybe you wouldn't have seen before. So I know that, you know, when I left my last school, I've met so many girls that I wasn't friends with while I was at that school now, because, you know, you spend time with people that maybe you wouldn't expect to, and you form friendships from that, and your friendship grows with you. I'd say it's not a separate thing. You know, the people that you're friends with are equally going to be interested what you're doing, where you are, want to catch up with you. Because I know for me, my friends at home, boarding is like this crazy thing for them to get their heads around, so they always want to see me and find out how I'm doing, or, you know, just have like a pizza or something. So that's nice.
Ellie, how did you feel before you came to Millfield? Because there'd obviously be mixed emotions rushing like around you, but what were they?
I remember being with my mum at my flat and packing so many bags into quite a small car, and being concerned of the fact that it's not going to fit, first of all, but also being super excited because I really wanted to come here since I was 5 or 6. My brother came through Milford as well, so it had always been kind of what I wanted to do, and I'd worked really hard to get here, so I was super excited, but also nervous about leaving home. It was the first time I hadn't lived at home since I was born, and that was scary to me, but yeah, looking back, so glad I did it. Real life lessons, and yeah, super pleased. What about you guys?
Okay, so I've been packing the night before coming to Millfield, worrying that I wasn't gonna finish in time to go in the morning, and then just the journey to school was the most like scariest thing ever. Like, I was overreacting so much, but then as soon as I got there that evening, everything just like seemed to calm right down. Like, my levels were just, I was so excited and happy to be here. As soon as you get there and you like realise how like you've already made like life earning friends like in that like minute, it's just unbelievable. But
yeah, it was kind of like a lead up for me. So on the last day of school at which was a day school, which is really close to my house, it was all it kind of tensions grew high every day because I got a bit more nervous, and all my friends are going to the same school. So I think when the day came, leaving, my brother, which is older, like right next to me, and the fact that he would always say, oh, it's like really good here. Yeah, he encouraged me to come and join because it sounded so amazing, and I just had to join for myself. So, and the first day that I arrived, just meeting everyone, it was also new, but it just flew by because you all came together, and you just gotta keep going with it. Like, just take everything as it goes. Like, if I was sat back in year 5 or whatever, I would not expect that I'd be sat here in my year 9 boarding house like this with like the amount of friends that I have, and I just didn't really expect it coming, but obviously it's not a bad thing.
I just think that like when I was like younger, just about to come to Milford, I thought it was such a big step, and like it was such a big step, but now I'm here, like sitting here now, it doesn't seem like as scary or as bad as I thought it was going to be, and I think coming here has actually like really changed me and gave me my personality compared to what I was back home.
I'd say to myself before I came to Millfield, so year 8, I'd say don't be nervous because everyone also is nervous, and also I should have been really super excited because I've met some amazing people, and I really do believe that this school kind of introduces you to, you know,
new opportunities.
Yeah, groups of people that are just amazing that you would never have met before. Like, you know, you surround yourself with high achieving athletes, incredible artists, all these people from different backgrounds and cultures, and I really didn't expect it before I came, but I've learnt so many new things, not just academically but about people and the way the world works from coming here, and that's kind of invaluable, I'd say.